Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your judgment and advice in the comments. Am I the a-hole for not letting my wife drive our new car while making her pay for the insurance? I, 30M, and my wife, 28F, recently purchased a new car, but I don't feel safe with her driving it, but due to her past driving issues, I told her she's going to be on the hook for the insurance. I'm active duty military, so there's many times of the year where I'm gone for weeks, months at a time, and this seems to be when she gets into the most trouble. While we were dating, and for the first 2 years of our marriage and my time in the military, she managed to gather 5 speeding tickets, a handful of parking tickets, and 1 for running a stop sign. A couple months before my first deployment, we buy a decent, mid-size SUV. 2 weeks after I leave, I get a call that she was in an accident and totaled the car. She rear-ended the car in front of her when traffic came to a dead stop. Following the deployment, we get a car from her dad. She proceeds to drive it into the ground by always pushing it to its limits and then some, up until the timing chain broke. After that car dies, we get another car, the same as the first car she wrecked but in a different color. I tell her to get it on the insurance, and remind her a few times, as her schedule at the time allowed her to get in contact with the insurance company during their business hours. A couple weeks later, I leave for 2 weeks, and she manages to hide another car in a 7-Eleven parking lot. Our car wasn't insured, and we ended up having to pay over $1,000 to the other driver. Eventually our older car dies a natural death. It was 25 years old with about 240,000 miles, so we get a medium sedan. I use it as my primary, as I still have a long commute, and she's not driving as much because she lost her job due to the Rona taking over. A couple months later, I leave on my second deployment, and a month into it she gets into another accident. She was driving down a curvy mountain pass and decides that the car in front of her going the speed limit isn't going fast enough. She tries to go around, loses control, and smashes the hillside, totaling the car. For comparison's sake, in the last 10 years, I've had 0 accidents, 0 parking tickets, and 1 speeding ticket. She's had 5 speeding tickets, various other moving violations, 4 at-fault accidents with 2 resulting in total vehicle loss, and almost had her license suspended. After I got home, we got another sedan, but newer with some features I wanted. I told she can't drive it unsupervised. Needless to say, she was mad. I don't trust her ability to drive. She always has been going 80+ mph, regardless of the road and traffic conditions. She likes to ride less than 10 feet from the car in front of her, regardless of speed, and she occasionally drives drunk if I'm not around to tell her not to. I fear one day she's going to get somebody killed. Her accidents and tickets have brought our monthly insurance to over $590. If I had my own insurance for both cars, I'd be paying about $150 per month. I think my position on this is justified. What do you think? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. She's going to kill someone. At this point you're doing her a favor. You need to sit her down and have a serious talk with her. Bring up all the past accidents and violations. All of it is proof that she cannot be trusted with a vehicle. Driving drunk is a huge reckless thing to do. Honestly, take the car keys with you during deployment. Or take one with you and give one to someone you trust 100%, just in case the car needs to be moved or whatever. Don't even leave her the keys. You need to tell her it is for her own safety as well. Maybe tell her that if she's willing to take a driving course or driver's safety course, that you'd be more willing to let her drive. Dude, you don't want her killing someone and then it's on your conscience. Not the a-hole. She shouldn't be driving at all if she occasionally drives drunk if I'm not around to tell her not to. She needs to go to driving classes. She causes car accidents. She harms people. She harms herself. And she can potentially harm your career. Your insurance is going to end up dropping you because your wife can't manage to be more patient and cautious when driving. Here's to hoping she doesn't kill someone. There's a noticeable lack of concern for your wife's safety in your description of this, because it's amazing she hasn't killed or seriously injured herself in a car accident with that history. She's also a risk to other people while driving, in addition to herself. It seems like if you are at that point, you might need to consider whether who is paying for the car insurance might not be the decision to focus on right now. Am I the a-hole for blowing up at my mom for giving my brother my job? I, 20F, had to escape from my toxic family. And now that I've finally the opportunity to take a step back and look at that family from the sidelines, I realized how absolutely insane they are. My mother is a gaslighting narcissist that can't think unless a man is thinking for her. My older sister Candy is a melodramatic attention-grabbing homophobe too busy projecting her childhood onto her children. My eldest sister, Chris, is a snob who has the "I had it worse than all of you so your sadness doesn't count" mentality. And my older brother is a condescending a-hole that makes me feel as though every word that comes out of my mouth is stupid. Now, I am very close with my boss. She said that I am her daughter, not my mother's. We had met at the gym a while ago when I was with my mom, and we had gone to talking and she offered me a job I couldn't refuse. It was an hour away, but good pay and amazing friends and a tight-knit group with short hours. I loved my job. It was simple for my brain to figure out, and I finally had a place where I was away from everything and I had something of my own. My mother is extremely pushy, obsessive, and invasive. When I'd first started this job, she kept texting my boss about my anxiety and this and that. Not only is that unprofessional, but I'm a grown adult no longer in her house. She had no right, and I can take care of business myself. Growing up, she was obsessed with my body image and it got worse when I hit high school. She became obsessed with how I looked and dressed and wanted me to be the popular girl despite me saying I wanted different. She gave me weight loss supplements, commented on it a lot whenever I ate, and eventually it led to me having eating problems. She swears up and down that it's not her fault. Right parenthesis. But recently I got a call waking me up and it was my boss. She told me that my brother, Keithan, had called her asking for a job because he's having trouble paying his bills. She asked me about his work performance, and while I don't like him, I'm not going to lie about his ethic and told the truth. He is a good worker. He worked hard and I left it at that. But right after I hung up with my boss, I knew exactly who's given my boss the number. My mom. I called her and went off on her. I told her that the point of all of this was that I wanted to get away from you people and that she had no right to just hand him my job. I didn't want to work with him. This was my space to get my life together and to get away, and I wanted nothing to do with him. She called me selfish and said that my brother is struggling right now and needed a job. She told me that I need to grow up and that he's my brother. I told her I don't care. She had no right and that she's sitting here telling me to grow up, but her son is the one looking for a job. I hung up and decided I was done. This had been the final straw. So, am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. You say your boss is like your mother figure, so why not just tell her, while my brother is a great employee, I would ask if you not offer him a position. You see, that's how an adult would handle the situation. Not calling your mother and blowing up at her. Your mom didn't give your brother your job. She reached out to your boss trying to help your brother find a job and didn't suggest he replace you. No a-holes here. You don't want your family interfering, and that makes sense. Your mom is just trying to use connections to help your brother find work, and that makes sense too. Not the a-hole, though it doesn't seem like she gave him your job, just sent him to apply at your workplace. You really need to talk to your boss about how you feel. Your brother is a good worker, yes, but if he's that condescending to coworkers, he's going to cause massive issues with morale. Not to mention your morale will drop just having him there. Be very honest with your boss, or she may assume you are happy to have him there. If she's as close to you as you claim, she will understand, and likely be glad you told her. Also, sounds like it might be time to go completely no contact with your whole family. Everyone sucks here. Your mom, obvious reasons. You, for not being honest with your boss and saying don't hire him. Your boss, WTH. Why is she corresponding with your mom? She sounds just as toxic and manipulative as the mom you're trying to get away from. Get another job. Don't tell anyone. Would I be the a-hole if I moved out and didn't help my mom pay off her debt? I've been supporting my family since I was 17F. I'm 21F now. I live with my two younger siblings, 17F, 10F, and my mother, 48F. My mother has always been a housewife until an event with my dad. He's not here and we don't have contact. I was 13 when he left, but my mother always kept the housewife mentality. She would do anything to avoid finding a job, because she lived only off savings that my father left us, and said she never expected to work. She needed help because savings and government money wasn't enough anymore, so I found a job at 17 and I'm still supporting her. Our agreement was that I paid utilities and she paid rent. She hasn't paid rent though, because in 2019 we ended with $10,000 in debt when she told me she was paying rent the entire time and we got it covered by the government. In 2020, she actually found a job, got all the stimulus, unemployment, etc. And I thought she still had rent handled. We ended that year with $13,000 in debt instead. She lied, and we don't qualify for the same government program again. I've been paying the base rent for the past 4 months in addition to some utilities. My mom does a couple and I made sure she's actually doing them this time, but it's eating through my bank account. Now, she's handling the debt like it is both of our responsibilities to pay it. My savings have been eaten up the past 4 years because I've been supporting them, and not once have they expressed gratitude. They berated me for not doing more, even though I was a student giving almost their entire income. Our landlord wants to work through this with us because he understands a single-parent household is hard to maintain, but he is behind on mortgage because we are late on all our payments. He demanded we start paying it off this month or else he is going to give us a court date. I'm not liable because my name is not on the lease, but I've been helping them for as long as I can, and the rent not being paid is something I simply did not have knowledge of because my landlord didn't even reach out to me until it got to that point. I expressed that I wanted to move out after my degree, winter. My mom will not look for a job and thinks she can live off government money or my money for the rest of her life. I need to move on and I'm being chained down by debt that isn't even mine to pay. She called me an a-hole and said I should prioritize my family over my future because family is supposed to mean everything and I can't just leave her to get evicted. I think I might be the a-hole too because there is a very real possibility they might get evicted. But I've sacrificed so much for people that would never do the same. Shelters and city housing are also an option. Moving won't clear their debt, but if they downsize or get a less than optimal place for the time being and she actually finds a job, maybe then they can support themselves. Am I the a-hole for wanting to move out and leaving my mother to pay her own debt? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole, it's probably healthier for you to leave. Your mom is using you. As long as you give her advance notice, I'd say a month or 2, so she has time to get a job. If she doesn't, that's on her, and a set day for move out, everything else is up to her. Just make sure if she is evicted, you put your foot down and don't let her try to move in with you. You would not be an a-hole for not letting her move in with you in that situation either. Not the a-hole. Stop letting yourself be used as an ATM. You have no responsibility to pay your mother's way through life, nor are you your sibling's parent, though it is a sad situation for them to be in too. Move out as soon as you can but stop paying her bills ASAP. She earned that debt. She is legally responsible for it too and she is not entitled to financially abuse you. If you have any accounts that she has access to, close them or transfer what you have to new accounts. Not the a-hole. She's lied to you about money. She keeps accumulating more debt and then dumps most of it on you. She knows she can use you as a safety net. Don't let her do that anymore. She needs to learn. She will guilt you. She'll get your siblings to cry and beg you. Don't fall for it. Otherwise one day you'll wake up and you'll be in your 30s with even more debt, still living with her. Move out and don't give her any more money. Or say you're only giving her money until you leave and then stop. Thanks for watching. Until next time.